Hello, it's that time of year again here at Homegrown Veg in the United Kingdom. My onions have just started to bulb up. They're starting to look like onions. I got off to a shaky start this year. I decided I was going to grow my onions from seed. I've done that for a number of years. But I got an onion called Walla Walla. Never had that seed before. And I started some Walla Walla, and then my old favourite Ailsa Craig. I started some Ailsa Craig from seed, and I also got some zebra and shallot seeds and started some of those. Well, I have a feeling I may have got away too early, and I have a feeling the cold snap at the beginning of the year didn't help. I think I might be looking for excuses now, but to be honest, I wasn't too happy with the way any of those onions or those shallots developed. They were small, they were skinny, they didn't look as though they were going to make anything. But fortunately, I have a friend who's an allotment grower, and he was growing Ailsa Craig from seed, and he was also growing zebra and shallots from seed. And he said he would give me his spares, the ones he wasn't going to put in, because he had got more than he needed. So he did that, and I've got to admit, they were nice plants. His Ailsa Craigs were far ahead of mine, his zebra and shallots were far ahead of mine. He didn't have any Walla Walla, so I had to go with what I've got. So what I decided to do was, I would plant the ones my friend gave me, and I would see how mine went, see if they picked up a bit. But in the meantime, I would buy some sets as a backup. And the sets I bought were an onion called Turbo. Now they were just an inexpensive set. They weren't heat treated. I was going to use them for backup. As it turned out, what I did was, I started them in a seed tray, I just sat them in some compost, and they grew on really well. And I finished up planting quite a lot of them, but I also planted some of the Ailsa Craig, Walla Walla and Zebra that I'd grown, and so I've got a real mixture in the bed at the moment. And I think what we'll do is we'll go out and have a look and just check them out. What we're checking them out for, what we don't want to find, we do not want to find any seed heads. Now I've been across YouTube and looked at what other gardeners are doing in the UK, and there's a lot of onions going to seed. There is, and we've all had similar weather, and it's generally weather patterns that cause things to go to seed. Too hot, too cold, too wet, too dry, too changeable. Any of those in any combination. So we do not want to see any seed heads. Okay, let's go and have a look. Oh, and then what we're going to do, we're going to come back indoors, and I'm going to tell you about a video that I shot about 3 years ago about onions that had gone to seed, and a little experiment that I tried that actually had me gobsmacked. When I concluded that experiment, I didn't know what to expect, and I really couldn't comprehend it when it happened. But it's committed to video, and I put that video up, as I say, a few years ago. But I'm going to dovetail that onto the back end of this video. Right, let's go outdoors and have a look at my attempt at growing onions and shallots this year. These are some Ailsa Craig grown from seed. These are the Ailsa Craig that I got given. Behind the Ailsa Craigs at the front of the bed are some Ailsa Craigs that I started from seed, and they're much smaller at the moment. If I just pan if I just pan you up a little, I'm fairly sure you probably won't be able to tell this, but you're now looking at some Walla Walla, and they're probably the smallest of the lot in this bed, and that's the Walla Walla that I grew from seed. And then we go further back and we start to get a different colour leaf appearing on the onions. Those are the onions grown from sets, and they are turbo. And then further back from turbo we have the Z-brown shallots. So it is quite a mixture we've got growing here, all packed into this small one raised bed. And I've got to say, I can't see a single seed head. I can't see a single seed head. But I still want these onions to grow on for a month. And then hopefully they'll fall over, they'll be big enough, and we'll take them. Right, let's go back indoors. Well, that's good then, isn't it? I can't believe I haven't got any onions or shallots that have gone to seed yet, that have bolted. I hope I haven't put the kiss of death on this. I hope I haven't. I mean, those onions, I'd really like them to be in that bed for at least one more month growing. One more month growing. Then they fall over, and then we harvest them probably early September. Give me a chance to dry them out. I want them to grow for one more month without bolting, without going to seed. Right, let me cut you to that video now. How I came to shoot this video was, we talked about onions going to seed before, over the years, and I'd had various comments back, and some of the commenters were saying, well, why do you pull them out? Because that's something I always do. Why do you pull them out? Well, to give the other onions room to develop, and I don't want the seed. Yeah, but if you grow them on, you'll get some onion. Well, that was news to me. I thought once an onion had gone to seed, that was it, finished. You were not getting any onion. So I grew two of them on. They had gone to seed, nipped the seed head out, just let them grow on. At the end of the year, when I harvested all the onions, I harvested those two as well, brought them in the kitchen, sliced them in half. Hey, check this out. Check this out. It had me lost for words, it really had. Over the years, I have onions that have gone to seed. You've had onions that have gone to seed. We've got to make a decision, haven't we? What are we going to do with those onions that have gone to seed? Well, my usual response to onions that have gone to seed is to pull them out, believing that I'm not going to get anything at the end of the year. I'm not going to get a bulb onion, and I don't want the onion seeds, and so I pull them out in the belief that that leaves more room in the bed for the other onions to develop. But this year I've been convinced by some subscribers and visitors alike that another approach might be just to pinch the seed head out, let the onion grow on, and we would get some usable onion at the end of the growing season, at the end of the year. Well, we're going to find out if that's true now, and we're going to find out if that's something that we might want to do in future, rather than just pull the onions out, pinch the seed head out, let them go to, let the onion grow on, if it will grow on, see if it'll produce a bulb onion, and see how much usable onion we can get from that bulbed onion. Okay, so that's what we would have got had this not gone to seed. Okay, that's a nice onion, isn't it? And just by way of comparison, let me get you these. These are a couple of store-bought onions. As you can see, they're still in their wrapping. So that's the size of onion you're getting when you're buying store-bought onions. That's the size of onion you can get when you grow them yourself from seed. Okay, these onions were grown from seed. I've no idea what that was grown from. I'm fairly confident it was grown from seed as well. So we grew from seed this year, and this is what we got. This is a couple of my onions that I grew this year, and this is a couple that bolted, that went to seed. So I'm going to move this off the table now. We're going to top and tail these onions, and these two particular onions, the ones that have gone to seed, we're going to split them. We're going to see how much onion we can get from them. Now I know that that is all onion. There's no waste there. Once I take this top off, there's no waste there. So we won't be splitting these onions, just these onions. Okay, let's do that. Let's take these off the table. Let's bring a chopping board on, and let's open these two onions up that have gone to seed. Okay, pop that one there. I'll do this one first. Have you had a good year growing your onions? I've done really well, really well. I've grown some winter onions, and I've grown some onions through spring and summer. Yeah, I had a good return this year, growing from seed. Right, let's split this guy open, shall we? In fact, no, what we'll do, we'll pop in there and top this one as well. Hello Tess, I've got the dogs with me today. Come round here. Come here. This is Tess. Can you see Tess? I hope you can. Onions, you don't like these. Come here Dotty. Come on. This is Dotty. Can you see Dotty? You don't like onions either, Dotty. Fern, come here. Come here Fern. Come here lass. Good girl. Come here. What's this? And this is Fern. Come here. I'm not too sure if we've got Fern in shot. Anyway, we've got the dogs with us for the next few days. Molly's keeping her head down. She doesn't like onions, so we might not see Molly. Oh. Now then, this guy's split into two. Actually, when you look at this, and somebody mentioned this to me, and to be honest, I must admit, I was a bit dubious of what I'd heard, a bit sceptical really of what I'd heard. But this is going to prove that what that person told me was absolutely correct. And I didn't know that till I started taking this skin off. How about that? That's where the seed stalk grew. It's not growing through the centre of the onion. It's growing up the side, look. How good is that? Now I suspect this is waste, but all this is onion. I didn't know that. I always expected this to grow straight through the middle of the onion. Now that might make it worthwhile, just letting these onions grow on. That looks like quite a sizable bulb onion now, doesn't it? And the stem is off to the side. Ha ha! How about that? That is the first time I've seen that. The first time I've seen that. Okay, let's, I'll just tidy this board up a bit because there's a bit of dirt getting on it. Okay, we'll split this guy first and see what we've got. Now, it looks as though the stem for this onion that had bolted has gone down the middle. So perhaps it can be one or the other. It looks as though we've got both here. But I'm going to split this, we're going to have a look. That's if I don't cut myself in the process. Ready? Well, there it is, right down the middle. Look at that. And that onion is about hollowed out, isn't it? What looks like that, is it an avocado? Or when you take the stone out, there's a big hollow in the middle. I can't recall, there's something looks like that. But look at that. There's a seed stem right down the middle. Right in the middle. And that onion's hollow. So we're going to get absolutely zilch. Nothing from that onion. But hey, look at this guy. Now the problem is they both look the same growing in the bed, and I couldn't tell whether these two onions would look like this when they came out, which is what I expected. I would actually get one like that, which is what I didn't expect. Come on. What would we do? What would you do? Would you let them go to seed? Would you let them bolt in the hope that you would get some of these? Or would you pull them out in the assumption you'd probably get lots of these? What would you do? That's unbelievable, isn't it? That I've never seen before. I've seen this, I've never seen that. I've never seen this hollowing out before. There's usually onion, but there's no onion here, but there's lots of onion here. Well, blow me down. That's got me beat. That has got me beat. What about you? Have you ever seen that before? I've never seen that before. Never seen an onion throwing the seed head up from its side. It's always come through the middle. But hey, we learn something, don't we? And I guess only by pinching those two onions out and letting them grow on, that was the only way I would find this out. I've never seen it before. Have you? Have you ever seen this before? I've never seen this before. Am I labouring a point now? I think I am, and I'm doing that because I'm gobsmacked. Hey, how about that? How about that? I did not expect that. I didn't expect. Have you ever seen anything like that? Have you ever? I hadn't. Blimey. Well, first off, I hope your onions don't bolt and go to seed this year. Second off, I hope you enjoyed the video. This is Homegrown Veg, signing out. Wow, that was totally unexpected.